Alrighty, can you all hear me? Alright, just making sure, alright. You know, it's weird being up here, I have so much power, I'm considering hijacking this button, right? Hello everyone, my name is EJ Vandegrift, and I've been part of Verona Area School District since I was in kindergarten. And 9 months from now, I will graduate as a senior, and to much of all my teachers for life, we should keep doing that clapping thing. But now, as I stand in this building once more, I am pleasantly surprised by what fills my memory of our district. It's not the seemingly endless pages of my history textbooks that I remember, nor the many demonstrations I pretended to understand in AP physics class. Sorry, Miss Howard. Even the countless calculus problems I drilled over and over again could not dig its way into my brain. Instead, it was filled by all of you. Going back in time to the 4th grade, I, like some other students, was still not completely sold on this idea of school. I understood why I needed to go and why it was important, but outside of getting my daily Jolly Rancher and wearing my favorite pair of neon green shorts, which impressed all the girls, I wasn't particularly enthused about going to school. My idea of school at that time had already been cemented. I go, I sit down, I learn, the teacher teaches, the custodians clean, the cafeteria workers will serve food, the bus drivers will drive, and so on. It felt like we were all playing one big game of house, and no one could really change or break their role. Until one day, when I was walking into class, and I heard a voice call, "What up, E-Buddy?" Me? As it turns out, my teacher at the time, Mr. O'Brien, had created nicknames for everyone in my class, and I, of course, had been dubbed E-Money. You know, EJ is nice, but E-Money has a good ring to it. For the first time, I saw Mr. O'Brien not as some robot that just lived at the school, but But instead, I saw him as just another person, another one of my friends. I firmly believe that in order for us to call this district, Verona Area School District, our district, a community, we must build real relationships that go further than teacher, student, counselor, advisory teacher. You get the idea. Because yes, when we step into these buildings, we are all of those things. But more importantly, we are people, and we are a community. Now, to this day, some of my friends still call me E-Money. And to this day, I still smile a little bit when they do. Fast forward to today, and I've created many more real relationships with both the staff and the students than I could have imagined. Some that pop into my head include Mr. Holt, who teaches me what a good role model should be like, while also being the teacher I dread seeing the most. Calculus is a tough cookie. And of course, there's Mr. Vandermeuse, who is always willing to sit down and truly listen to all of my problems when I thought no one else would. Now, this next story I want to share with you doesn't actually come from the classroom, but instead, the cafeteria. Somewhere near the middle of last school year, I was filling my tray as I would any normal day. As I was receiving my food from the server, I gave my automated response. "Thank you, sir," which is why I say to any staff member that I don't know formally. As I was about to walk away, though, he said something that stopped me right in my tracks. He said, "Of course, but please, call me Doug." "Mr. Doug?" "Just Doug." I would go on to call him sir more times than I can remember, and he would give the same response every time. Eventually, he and I would have our small talks where I felt like I could talk openly because I wasn't talking to a custodian anymore, or a cafeteria worker, or a staff member. I was just talking to, well, Doug. These seemingly insignificant talks of ours never lasted over 2 minutes. Yet, here I am talking to all of you about it months later. From then on, I always had a little pep in my step when getting to lunch. Well, a little more than usual. But I can assure you the reason wasn't because of the food. It may not seem like much, but it is the personal connections that all of you make with the students at Roanoke that matter so much. It is what drives us students to wake up each day and go to school to learn. And it is, of course, what we will remember years later after our school days are done. And I hope the same is true for you. After all, it is not the papers we fill out that we will remember, or the routes we drive to school to drop off the students, or the advice we give to students, or the books we give to students. It is the relationships and the friendships we build that stick with us. So, with this next school year fast approaching, I ask you, what are you going to remember? Thank you very much. To introduce someone that I personally look up to, our superintendent, Dr. Craig.